We're talking about civilizations that used menstrual blood as face masks, breast enlargement creams, and even love potions. Some ancient cultures believed it was more valuable than gold. But just wait until you hear about the Chinese empress who bathed in period blood every single day, or the Greek goddess rituals where women would paint their entire bodies in menstrual fluid to achieve divine beauty. This rabbit hole goes deep, and it's so disturbing it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient beauty standards. If you're ready to dive into the most shocking, disgusting, and absolutely mind-blowing beauty secrets history tried to erase, smash that like button and subscribe right now, because what I'm about to reveal will change the way you see beauty forever. Let's start with ancient Egypt, because honestly, the Egyptians took period blood beauty treatments to a level that would make modern influencers look like amateurs. We're talking about a civilization that believed menstrual blood was literally liquid magic. Picture this. It's 1353 BCE, and you're Queen Nefertiti getting ready for your morning beauty routine. But instead of reaching for expensive oils and perfumes, you're coating your face with fresh menstrual blood. Why? Because Egyptians believed period blood contained the essence of creation itself. The ancient Egyptian medical papyrus, that's like their version of a beauty magazine, specifically recommends menstrual blood for treating sagging skin and wrinkles. They genuinely thought that because this blood came from the organ that creates life, it must have regenerative powers that could reverse aging. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Egyptian queens didn't just use their own period blood. They had special servants whose only job was to collect menstrual blood from young, healthy women throughout the kingdom. These blood collectors would travel from village to village, gathering the freshest period blood for royal beauty treatment, so the process was incredibly elaborate. The blood had to be collected during the first 2 days of menstruation when it was considered most potent. It would then be mixed with honey, aloe vera, and ground pearls to create what they called the elixir of eternal youth. Cleopatra herself was reportedly obsessed with period blood treatments. Historical records suggest she used menstrual blood mixed with crocodile dung and honey as a face mask 3 times a week. The crocodile dung was supposed to add magical protection, while the period blood provided the anti-aging benefits. And get this, they didn't just use it on their faces. Egyptian women would apply period blood to their breasts, believing it would keep them firm and youthful. They would massage it into their scalps to prevent gray hair and even use it as eye makeup, thinking it would give them mystical, hypnotic powers. The most shocking part, archaeological evidence suggests this practice worked its way down through all social classes. Even poor Egyptian women would save their own period blood in special clay pots, treating it like precious cosmetic gold. But the Egyptians didn't stop there. Oh no! They believed that period blood from virgin girls was the most powerful of all. Wealthy families would literally purchase young girls' first menstrual blood at astronomical prices, treating it like liquid diamonds. If you thought the Egyptians were extreme, wait until you hear what the Romans did with period blood. They turned it into a full-blown beauty industry that would make today's cosmetics companies jealous. Roman women weren't just using period blood randomly, they had created an entire scientific system around it. Different types of menstrual blood were classified and priced according to the donor's age, health, and social status. It was like having a stock market for period blood. The most expensive category was Virgo sanguis, blood from virgin girls having their first period. This stuff cost more than imported silk and was reserved for only the wealthiest Roman matrons. They believed first period blood contained the purest life force energy. But here's what's really going to blow your mind. Roman beauticians had developed specific period blood recipes for different beauty concerns. For wrinkle reduction, fresh menstrual blood mixed with ground sea pearls and rose oil. For breast enlargement, period blood combined with crushed oyster shells and wine. For lip color, dried period blood powder mixed with beeswax and berry juice. For hair growth, fermented menstrual blood with olive oil and herbs. The Roman beauty industry even had specialized blood beauticians called sanguinarius cosmeticus, who were experts in period blood treatments. These professionals would examine the blood quality, determine the right mixture ratios, and apply the treatments in luxury bathhouses. And get this, Roman men were also getting in on the action. They believed that washing their faces with their wives' period blood would give them youthful skin and prevent baldness. Some Roman generals would even use period blood as war paint, thinking it would make them invincible in battle. The marketplace for period blood was so sophisticated that they had quality control standards. Blood had to be collected in silver vessels, stored at specific temperatures, and used within 3 days of collection. Expired period blood was considered not just ineffective, but potentially dangerous. But here's the craziest part. Roman women would actually compete to have the most sought-after period blood. Young, beautiful women could make a fortune selling their menstrual blood to wealthy matrons. It was like being a beauty influencer, except your product was literally your period. Some Roman women became so famous for their high-quality period blood that they had waiting lists of customers. Historical records mention a woman named Livia Sanguinaria who became incredibly wealthy just from selling her menstrual blood to the Roman elite. Now let's talk about ancient Greece, where period blood wasn't just about beauties, it was about becoming a literal goddess. The Greeks took period blood worship to spiritual levels that are absolutely mind-blowing. In ancient Greek mystery cults, especially those devoted to Demeter and Persephone, menstrual blood was considered the most sacred substance on earth. Women participating in these rituals would paint their entire bodies with period blood during full moon ceremonies. But here's where it gets really intense. These weren't just random beauty treatments. The Greeks believed that coating yourself in menstrual blood during specific lunar phases would transfer the power of the goddess directly into your body. They thought it would make them irresistibly beautiful and magically powerful. The ritual process was incredibly elaborate. Women would fast for 3 days, then gather in secret temples during the new moon. They would mix their period blood with honey, wine, and sacred herbs, then paint intricate patterns all over their bodies while chanting ancient incantations. And get this, they had different patterns for different desired outcomes. If you wanted to enhance your beauty, you'd paint spirals on your face. For fertility, you'd create symbols on your abdomen. For wisdom, you'd draw geometric patterns on your forehead. It was like ancient body art, but with period blood. The most exclusive ritual was called the Blood of Aphrodite, where only the most beautiful women in Greece could participate. They would bathe in pools filled with collected menstrual blood from hundreds of women, believing it would give them the beauty of the goddess of love herself. But here's what's really shocking. Greek physicians actually endorsed these practices. They believed that period blood contained divine essence that could cure diseases, enhance beauty, and even extend life. Medical texts from this era describe detailed instructions for period blood beauty treatments. Some Greek women became so obsessed with these rituals that they would time their entire lives around their menstrual cycles. They would plan marriages, business deals, and important decisions based on when they could perform their period blood beauty ceremonies. Ancient China took period blood beauty treatments to levels of luxury that would make modern spas look like amateur hour. We're talking about imperial beauty rituals that cost more than entire kingdoms. The Chinese believed in something called red dragon energy, the mystical power contained in menstrual blood. Empress Wu Zetian, the only female emperor in Chinese history, reportedly bathed in period blood every single day for over 40 years. But this wasn't just any period blood. Oh no! The imperial palace had an entire department dedicated to collecting the highest quality menstrual blood from young women across the empire. They called it the Bureau of Crimson Essence, and it employed hundreds of people. The selection process was incredibly strict. Only virgin girls between ages 14 and 16 from specific regions known for their beauty could donate. These girls would be brought to the palace, fed special diets to purify their blood, and their menstrual cycles would be monitored by court physicians. And the imperial period bloodbath ritual was absolutely insane. The empress would soak in a jade tub filled with warm period blood mixed with ground pearls, ginseng, and rare herbs. She would stay in this bath for exactly 45 minutes while court musicians played specific melodies believed to enhance the blood's power. And here's the kicker. They had different types of period blood for different beauty concerns. Morning blood for facial treatments, afternoon blood for body therapy, and evening blood for hair care. They believed the time of collection affected the blood's magical properties. Chinese court records describe the empress's skin as being luminous as moonlight and smooth as silk well into her 70s. Whether it was genetics or the period blood treatments, something was definitely working. But the Chinese didn't stop at baths. They created period blood cosmetics. Rouge made from dried menstrual blood, lip stains from concentrated period blood, and even perfumes infused with menstrual essence. The imperial beauty arsenal was entirely period blood-based. Now we're getting into some seriously dark territory with the ancient Mayans, who combined period blood beauty treatments with religious sacrifice in ways that are absolutely terrifying. Mayan women believed that menstrual blood was a direct gift from the moon goddess Ixchel. But unlike other cultures that used it purely for beauty, the Mayans thought period blood could literally transform them into divine beings. The ritual was called blood moon transformation, and it was both a beauty treatment and a religious ceremony. Mayan priestesses would collect period blood during eclipses, believing this timing made it infinitely more powerful. But here's where it gets really intense. They would mix the period blood with the blood of sacrificed animals, sometimes even human blood. This mixture was then used to paint elaborate patterns on women's faces and bodies during full moon ceremonies. The Mayans believed this blood mixture would give women supernatural beauty that could enchant gods and men alike. They thought it would make their skin glow with divine light and their eyes shine with mystical power. Archaeological evidence shows that high-ranking Mayan women were often buried with special vessels containing dried period blood, suggesting they believed these beauty treatments would continue to work in the afterlife. Here's what's going to absolutely blow your mind. Some of these ancient period blood beauty treatments might have actually worked, but not for the reasons they thought. Modern science has discovered that menstrual blood contains stem cells, growth factors, and proteins that can promote tissue regeneration. So when ancient women were slathering period blood on their faces, they might have accidentally stumbled onto some legitimate anti-aging benefits. But here's the irony. While these cultures were using period blood as a beauty enhancer, they were simultaneously treating menstruating women as unclean and impure. The cognitive dissonance is absolutely mind-blowing. So there you have it, the absolutely wild, shocking, and completely unbelievable history of period blood beauty treatments. From Cleopatra's menstrual face masks to Chinese imperial blood baths, these ancient cultures treated period blood like liquid gold. It's absolutely fascinating how these civilizations saw period blood as the ultimate beauty secret, while modern society spent centuries treating menstruation as shameful and disgusting. Talk about a complete 180! Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. If these fascinating bits of information from history's dusty pages caught your attention, be sure to visit our channel. We regularly upload content that you'll love. Stay tuned to both enjoy and learn from our surprising historical tidbits. Hoping to see you in the next video. May you have the most wonderful days ahead.